Hello, 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 and good evening. Finally, we are here. Finally, I get to share with you all, and again, my sincere apologies about last week and our sessions that we were supposed to be on. I actually recorded the session, and I thought, okay, when it's finished, I would upload the session. Somehow, I don't know how it was saved to 2 gigs, and as a result, I could not get it uploaded. But I am absolutely glad to be with you, and as promised, I'm going to share with you how to help your child adjust to art at secondary school. So while we build up audience, let me just pause a little bit. We'll enjoy the little bit of music in the background, and maybe I can share, as usual, I always have a quote. I love to have quotes around me, and one of the quotes that I have here, it says, every child is an artist. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist as we grow up. How to remain an artist as we grow up. You know, so often we hear adults and they're so quick to say, oh no, I don't have art in me. But who's to tell? Was it something that was innate and not developed? Only God knows. But it's a wonderful time here, and I hope you all are doing fine, and I hope everything is coming together for you. And hey, shout out to all the young persons who wrote their common entrance. Yes, shout out to all the persons who wrote their common entrance. I'm so glad that, you know, this time is over, because, you know, this is a time where a lot of people find it nerving. But guess what? The results are all out, and by now everyone knows where everyone is going. What I'm doing, I'm just hoping that all went well, and even if it appears that is not what exactly you would like, I want you to just breathe in deeply, really think about the child, think about, you know, what their need really is, and see how we can respond in a positive way. In a positive way that will help this child still want to try, and not only still want to try, but want to find their way in their calling. Because I always say, each child, they have their own signature. Hi Najeri, thank you for coming in. Each child, that's my daughter, so proud of her. Each child has their own signature. In other words, their own contribution to make. And we want to make sure that we create the atmosphere, the environment at home where they will feel comfortable and confident trying to find their own way as you guide them along the way. So it's that time, and it's gone, and I hope that we all will move on, and move on with wisdom. All right, so time is going, and I'm just going to wait for 1 or 2 persons to come in, and we will take it from there. Send out some invites as well. Thank you for those who are coming in. You know I can't do this without company, right? Yeah, so let me give you some music and see how many persons will come in. Yeah, it's a wonderful evening. It has been hot, I must say, but I'm thankful to God for life. And I'm just waiting for 1 or 2 persons to click right in, because we really want to look at how we can help our children adjust to art in secondary school. And you see, certain things that some artists or mature students might take for granted. A young child now entering into the system can be very much intimidated. And you know, I don't want to hear later down the road, because of that intimidation, they dropped out, or they didn't like art, or they didn't have a positive. Hi, Oh Beauty, thank you so much for joining. Bless you. I don't want them to drop out because they didn't feel that comfort in this adjustment period. All right, so it's now 6:08, and we'll start the ball rolling at 6:10. So we'll give others a little bit time to come in. Those who are there, stay with me. Thank you all for coming forward. Once again, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to. Alright, so let me share the good word. If you know your friends that are around who have children, you want to tell them about this, because you know what? The information just might help them. You never know. Alright. Okay. So if you know you have or know someone whose family, your cousin, your niece, any one of them, you're just into art, hey, guess what? This is the place to be. Alright, we're starting in just 1 minute. And the show will be on the way. Thank you for joining me, those of you who are here. Yep. And guess what? The information that's here, feel free to share it. Alright? Feel free to share it. Yep, it's a wonderful evening. Alright, so it is Thursday and we are going to be sharing, I'm going to be sharing with you, of course I'm Sheridan Skeet, your inspirational fine artist. A little bit about me. I have been teaching art for over 30 years. And I'm still enjoying it. I tell people art could never be a boring subject to teach. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're teaching students and adults, each person is bringing their own personality, their own style, and that's what makes it, and fantastic. Because you never know what's going to come out, how each is going to interpret, so it has its own life of its own. But today is all about the children. It's all about the children who just wrote their exams and they're getting ready to leave primary school. Some of them, they've already started to go to their new school to register. Yes, and preparing for first form. They would have received their material list for art and the whole story goes on. And some of them might be wondering, what am I going to do with all of this? Listen, this time of transition for students, I believe it should not be a frustrating one. Especially when it all comes to doing art. I know some people, they may not have had art on their program at primary school, and even if they had it, it was just something that just to fill in, or it was a little fun thing here and there. But when they enter into secondary school now, art is coming on a new level. It's fun, but they're now learning the principles of art and the principles of designing. So are you ready to go with me on this journey? How to help your child adjust to art at secondary school. There are just 4 areas I want you to be mindful of. Their mindset, the materials they're going to be working with, their measurement, how their works are going to be graded, and the masterpiece, what they're going to create. These are the 4 areas I find, coming up. And the 4 areas that I normally have to deal with. And even when I meet a first form class, I don't start out right away. I start to work on their mind, because they could be very apprehensive. Why apprehensive? Because it's a transition. Why apprehensive? Because they're moving into a new area. It might be interesting, sound interesting, some might have some exposure, but then again, when it comes to actually creating on a new level, it might just be intimidating. So therefore, because the environment is new, they're meeting a new art teacher. They're not sure what to expect from the art class, and they're not sure if they can create good enough art. Because it's no longer creating art within a vacuum for only them or that they alone would see, but now they're creating art in a classroom where everyone else can see. That, my friend, could be very intimidating. And they're not sure how the students are going to respond to their art. And you know what? Sometimes mom and dad too is like, I was never good at art. I never did art at all. I don't know. See what we can do. All these elements come into the whole thing. But as an art educator, I'm very conscious of this, and so we're going to start talking of mindset. Mindset. The first thing you want to do is to encourage your children. Yes, you acknowledge it's going to be a new experience. It's a new experience, but your mindset. Be open-minded. Be open-minded, and that be open to new experiences and welcome it. Welcome it as something that you're going to learn. Alright, and if you're going to learn, you will not perfect it from day one, but just be open-minded so that whatever comes their way, they will already have it in their subconscious mind. I'm going to try something that is new. And here's where I always tell children, suspend all your judgment and what you think you know about art until you know more, until you experience it. I do know that each school, they have their own art program, all right? But for each art program, it is an introductory program, right? Where that they will be introduced in a small way to different elements and key elements in art. And because we are conscious that they're new, we try to make the activity fun and engaging. And this is a hint for all our teachers. Remember to make this activity fun and engaging. So we want to encourage our children to be open-minded. And even though I'm saying children open-minded, I mean you parents as well. Be open-minded so that when they're going off, they're not getting the vibration that, let me see what you can do. All right, it's like, okay, let's see what can we learn. All right, and time is going on already. And now we want to talk about the next M word, materials. Yeah, I know. Art material could be costly. It costs. But before we get all caught up with the cost, I want you to remember the benefits of art. Art is a subject that helps the student to be open-minded. It helps them to develop their problem-solving skills. It helps to engage their learning, their understanding, and ability to find solutions, right? So therefore, yes, it might come with a sacrifice, but I also want to remind you that there are some places where they're given discounts. I know one place for sure, Arts Art. They normally sponsor Creative Art Well, my program, whatever we're doing, and they normally give discounts around this time, preparing students for school. Look out for discounts and see what can happen in there. That's the good news in there. There are some materials that you can substitute, or what some people do, instead of buying all the materials right away, which will come up to the lump sum, you buy the materials according to term. So if you buy all the materials for the first term, that should keep them comfortable and keep them in a position where they can work and be engaged in the classroom. All right, but yes, I know materials are costly, but this is my philosophy. All right, we want to engage the children, inspire and teach art with an age-appropriate technique, with subject and materials. You must have materials. Why? Because that's the way they can engage in the activity, and I don't want them to be looking around, to be feeling left out or anything like that. So, and also keep in touch with your teacher, find out what is needed, engage them, ask questions, and I'm sure that they will keep you on the right track. The next M word that cause a lot of apprehension for children, and they ask me that many times on the first day of school, or even when I'm working with the Creative Art World group of children who are getting lessons or remedial lessons. How are you going to mark us? Because you know, children already, especially when they go into secondary, they're starting to think about performance. They're thinking about grades. Well, normally when I'm assessing grades, you normally grade them according to their scheme. Each age has a schema based on that. Other than that, it's just like a fun activity. So we'll give them a particular objective for their class. And based on that objective, which may not be skill related, they're graded. Here's an example. Okay, I want you to draw a tree by the seaside. The main focus is the tree by the seaside. So I want you to draw this tree by the seaside and fill your page as much as possible and use your pencil crayons or crayons to add color to this composition. And I will tell them, I am marking you today on your use of space. And that's all, on your use of space. So once I recognize something that looks like a coconut tree, something that looks like, by the seaside, they have enough lines and information to convey that, they're on the right track. They use as much space, grade A. Why? Because on that session, I am marking for use of space. You want to give the children that mental freedom where they're not bogged down by grades, especially very early in the session. Let them get into the system. Get them in the habit of producing works of art, maybe 1, 2, or 3 sessions without sometimes even worrying about grade. But you bear in mind that these are new children. You don't want them intimidated by the fact that their work will be graded. You want to get them in a mindset where they are producing work of art, because the more they produce, the more confidence they have, and the more they can go on to create. The next M word. Time flies when you're having fun, it seems. I hope you're enjoying this information. Just let me know. I thank you all for joining me this evening. I can't do this without company, right? And for those of you who are on, thank you so much for your kind statements and the love. Those of you who are on, tell other persons about it, because I'm going to post this on the Instagram page later on, because the information is very important. All right, so far we have talked about mindset, encourage children to be open-minded. Then we went on to talk about materials. They need materials to do their art, so therefore let's try to get it. And a most hi there, Anika, thank you for joining me so much, bless you. Yeah, you want to make sure they get their art material. Yes, I know they're costly. Look out for discounts. Check out Arts Art at shop number 23, Pelican Craft Center. They have a wide range of materials. They normally, hi Skeet for the shout out, they normally provide creative artwork with some wonderful discounts. And I'm sure this is open up to the public as well. And finally, we also talk about measurement. And then finally, masterpiece. That's what we're going to talk about. All right, so let me give you quickly one more quote. They say painting is just another way of keeping a diary. Painting is just another way of keeping a diary. Some people write it. Paint, drawing, art can capture that diary. Capture what you want to say in a visual way. All right, and that's absolutely fantastic. All right, so I dream my painting and then paint my dream. In other words, you can be inspired by your dreams, by ideas, and be able to interpret it in a visual way. Some people talk about what they saw, but instead of talking it, you can actually show it. That's how powerful art is. It can take what you're thinking and make it visual to the world. All right, so let's talk about the masterpiece now, the masterpiece mentality. I don't know, but this is a reality of children. Somehow, they expect, if they're learning to draw, let's say a cup, they expect to have this cup, even though they're doing art in a serious way for the first time, they expect to get it right on the go. No. Of course, there are some people who are gifted. I'm not despising that. There are some people that are gifted. It just might happen. Hooray, that's wonderful. But I'm thinking about those who are now getting into drawing. I don't want them feeling intimidated by that. That masterpiece mentality, even with parents, don't expect when they come home, what you did today for art, and they show you, it's like, what's that? No. It's like, okay, what it is you all were doing today, and explain to me what was the lesson, hear what it is, and then the child will say, well, this is my drawing of the cup. Okay, don't say that looking ugly. It's okay, I'm seeing certain marks in there. Okay, you're on your way. Keep doing or keep drawing. Or you can even ask them, probably if you add 2 more lines or a little touch here, you may be able to improve it or Did you show teacher it? You must show teacher it and let her tell you what she thinks about your drawing if you don't know what to say. You must show your art teacher it and let her tell you what she thinks about your first drawing. Any art teacher will welcome the enthusiasm of a child because we really want to see them getting off on good grounds. So don't expect masterpiece from your child in the earlies. Give them time to learn and to grow. In the meantime, be just supportive. Some people say, well, I can't lie to the child. No, don't lie. Just be honest. They come to you, oh, mom, dad, or auntie, this is my drawing I did today. And they're all excited because they did something. Oh, smile. Give them a pat on the back. Good effort. High five. It's like, I see that you're learning to draw a cup. Keep going, girl, or keep going. You're going to get it, son. Acknowledge them and acknowledge what they're doing and what they have been able to do so far. Sometimes that's all children are looking for, just to know that you approve of their effort. Alright, so don't expect masterpieces from your first formers. I'm not saying some aren't gifted, but I'm talking about the average child who's now learning to come into art. Give them space to grow. Hi Shay, nice to see you. Thank you so much for the support. Give them space to grow, because I always call them at that point budding artists. Budding artists. So, if you have any questions, remember you just send an email. You can send it to creativeartwell@gmail.com or wherever this is posted. You can drop your question there, DM me, and I will definitely respond. Anything you need to know, fine. Another quote here I want to drop off with you before I say goodbye. The quote says, coloring outside the lines is fine art. It's okay if a child color outside the lines. In other words, they don't need to be perfect. It's a process. You have to start somewhere. Encourage them to keep going on this journey. It's just the beginning. Alright? And don't take it on so much that they're afraid to make mistakes. And actually, this is where we help children come out of that mode of being perfectionists. Because the way we teach the art now, we're showing them there's another way of expressing yourself, where it is not perfect, but it is letting me know how you feel about a topic, how you feel about whatever it is that is going on. Alright, so I'm just going to recap for you quickly. This is Sheridan Skeet from Creative Artwell. It is at Creative Artwell we prepare students to go on to university level. It's at Creative Artwell we mentor young artists and even adults as well. It's right here you can get and order your own art products. But at this moment we are making sure that our children are not intimidated by art in first form. Encourage them to be open-minded, to embrace this new experience. Encourage them to take care of their art materials. It's costly. Label every item that they get. Label it. Should it mix up with other students, they can identify it quickly. Always secure all their art material. Get a portfolio, pencil case, a bag, whatever. Secure all their art materials. Go get discounts. Check out Arts Art. And also, you don't probably in school, I know you don't need all the materials right away. So if you can buy your materials by term, you're on spot to approach materials in an economic way. And in terms of measurement, at this stage, we're not hard on the children. They're now getting into art. We are more concerned about them producing the art and the earlier stages of it. As time goes on, we'll pull out some marks here and there. And as I said, we are marking on concept or objective, the way you use your space. Alright, that's an example. And finally, don't expect your child, your 11-year-old or 12-year-old, to produce a masterpiece on the first day, the first term. It takes time. Time to develop, time to grow, time to feel confident, and time to feel better as a young art student. So this is Sheridan Skeet. I hope something from here helped you. Something from here you can share with someone else. And remember, I always say, I'm just sharing, and I hope you benefit from it. Take care. Next week will be our very last session, and we're looking for another great time. Stay tuned on to my IG and I'll be sharing with you the topic. Until, bye. Thank you all for coming on. See you next week.